Wait, before you fill out your March Madness bracket, are you sure that's the team you want going far? Because they might just disappoint you. What's going on, guys? JaxTown here. So in my previous video, I talked about potential Cinderellas in March Madness, you know, teams that are lower seeds that no one expects them to go far and they end up going really far or much further than people thought. Now, today, inversely or conversely, we're going to be talking about teams that could potentially get upset or teams that are higher seeds and have high expectations that could just disappoint you this year. Now, this doesn't mean that they will disappoint you, but there might be a certain resounding factor or just something about this team that makes you or will make you want to question, do I really want them going that far? So here are 4 teams that are potential disappointments in March Madness. All right, so starting off this list is Kansas. So Kansas is coming into this tournament as a 4 seed, and they're going to be playing number 13 Northeastern in the first round. Now, they could potentially get upset there, or they could get upset in the next round, or basically, they're probably not going to make it out of the first weekend or past the round of 32. And mainly because they have 2 key players missing. So Udoka Azubuike and LeGerald Vick have both, one of them, Azubuike, has been injured most of the season. He's not going to come back. LeGerald Vick has some personal issues he's been taking care of. He's their shooting guard. So they're missing 2 out of 5 starters. And honestly, they don't have any great players outside of those 2. Of course, they have 1 or 2, but they haven't been spectacular this year. They haven't proven that they can beat elite teams and hang with the best of them like they have in the past. So don't bet on the Jayhawks this year because they could disappoint you. All right, so next up we have LSU. So LSU is a 3 seed coming into this tournament, and unlike Kansas, they've actually exceeded expectations. They've had a great season. They finished first in the SEC, but the main reason I have them as a potential upset victim or disappointment is mainly because of the controversy surrounding their team. So off the court, their head coach, Will Wade, he was recorded saying some stuff that he wasn't supposed to say, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'll spare you the details, but basically, Will Wade, their head coach, will probably not be coaching the entire tournament. And so we don't know how LSU is going to respond. We don't know how the players are going to respond. And so they may not be well coordinated or well synchronized because their great coach who did a great job this year is not going to be there. And as a result, their first game under their interim head coach, they lost in the SEC tournament to Auburn. So we don't know how they could do in the tournament. And a lot of people say that sneakily the biggest upset could be number 14 Yale taking them down. So of course the Tigers could do well, but because of the controversy around them, they could disappoint. And also another example was last year, similar situation with Arizona's coach Sean Miller. There was a lot of controversy going around and they ended up losing in the first round of Buffalo. So LSU could disappoint you because of the off-the-court issues with their coach. Next up, we have Michigan. So the Wolverines are coming in as a 2 seed, and they have had a great season, like last year when they were the runner-up in the entire tournament. But this year, I feel like they do have a very good team. I will even say they have a great team, but they have a lot of good players, but I don't see an NBA-level collection of talent. I see a lot of good players who kind of share the points, so they don't really have a go-to player. They have a lot of guys who average 10, 11 points, and of course they have a great coach, and they very well could get very far into this tournament, but I don't see a go-to player or a takeover player like they had last year. And so because of that, Michigan could be a little disappointing. Of course, they could go very far because they are a great team and they have a great coach, but yeah, they might disappoint a little bit. And also, they're not very deep. They only have a 6 or 7-man rotation. So if their players get fatigued, they're not going to have too many bench players. If they're in foul trouble, that could be a problem for the Wolverines and lead to their ultimate demise. All right, guys, and the 4th and final potential disappointment in March Madness is the Duke Blue Devils.
What?
How about that? Isn't that amazing?
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Okay, now before you beat me up and roast me in the comments section and say, hey, JaxTown, you're high, they're like the favorites to win the whole thing. Well, listen up. I'm not saying that they're going to go out for sure or anything, or they probably won't. They'll probably be a Final Four favorite, and probably they're the national title favorite. But there are 2 factors I'm kind of concerned about. The first thing is that they're very young. They're full of freshmen. 4 out of their 5 starters are freshmen, and just statistically, the last few years, most of the players on the championship teams, or most of the star players, have been upperclassmen. They've been juniors and seniors. So rarely do you see a team of freshmen or NBA prospects. They usually get these high seeds, like usually we see with Kentucky, but not often do they go all the way to the title game and win. So I think in the last 7 years, only 2 teams you could argue were mainly constructed of freshmen and went all the way and won, which was Duke in 2015, but they only had like 2 or 3. But then Kentucky was full of freshmen. I think their whole starting lineup was freshmen and they won. But I think they're the biggest exception. But for the most part, teams with juniors and seniors, they go the furthest more experience. So I'm not sure how Duke will handle the pressure. And also, this may be an even bigger flaw, this next one, is that they're not a good three-point shooting team. You need to be a good three-point shooting team, because what if you face a team that is locking you down inside, out-rebounding you, maybe a taller team, and they're going to try to shut Zion Williamson down, so they're going to force him to shoot threes, and they don't have too many players who can shoot the three. So if they go cold from downtown and they struggle offensively, that could be bad for them. Of course, they have so many more positives than negatives. I mean, they have amazing talent, amazing athletes, probably the best coach in the history of college basketball in Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski. But these are just a couple things, and I wanted to make this a little interesting, so I had Duke as a potential team that could go down, but technically anyone can. So, but they do have a couple concerning factors to me. So the Blue Devils have a slight chance of maybe being a little disappointment. Yeah. Don't hurt me, guys. All right, guys, this is going to be the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching. And March Madness is only 2 days away, so make sure to fill out your brackets. Currently, it is Tuesday, and the tournament starts on Thursday. It's always exciting. And who knows, maybe you could be the person, the first one to get that perfect bracket, or best your friends in your respective groups. And yeah, so of course these last 2 videos, you know, they're just theories. We don't know, so only take it with a grain of salt. But if you're just looking for these upsets, because every bracket is more fun when you have upsets, or teams are like, I don't know if I want to ride with that team, they may be a little disappointing. This was just a little bit of insight for you to gain some, gain some insight, some knowledge. Of course, it's only my opinion. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. But if you were having trouble deciding and you wanted to have some surprises, maybe I helped you out with that. And so thank you guys so much. If you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. That would be awesome. If you love sports, this is the channel for you. And so thank you guys so much. Have a great day and take care.